could be sadder than when Diep just returned home and was shocked when Trang came to see her and announced that she was pregnant with Jame. What could be more heartbreaking than when she herself did not believe this? But her best friend Trang did this to her. She could only caress Trang and encourage her. What about Jame? Is this true? Let's follow this story in a vibrant, modern city where skyscrapers reflect the never-ending pulse of ambition and routine. A quiet yet powerful love had blossomed between James, a young, successful CEO, and Diep, a kind-hearted, strong woman with a soul untouched by the coldness of corporate life. Their love wasn't born from luxury or convenience, but from a deep emotional connection in a world that often traded feelings for power. Yet, that love was destined to face a ruthless trial, a love, carefully crafted by another woman, Trang, the company's chief accountant, who had silently loved James for years but never received his affection. One night, the company held a lavish celebration to mark the end of the successful quarter. In the warm glow of chandeliers and the clinking of wine glasses, James stood as the admired center of attention. But only one person softened his gaze, Diep. At the bar, away from the laughter, Trang watched them, her heart, heavy with jealousy and bitterness, clenched tighter with every smile he gave Diep. She was convinced that Diep had stolen the man who should have been hers. As the party wound down, James, out of courtesy, had accepted a few drinks. Feeling lightheaded, he was about to leave when Trang approached with a sweet smile and one last glass of wine, one laced with a mild sedative. Not wanting to be impolite, James drank it. Moments later, everything went hazy. Trang held his arm gently and whispered, "Let me take you home. You're tired." But instead of taking him to his apartment, she drove to a hotel, a room she had already booked in advance. The next morning, James woke up with a pounding headache. In an unfamiliar bed. Beside him, Trang was wrapped in a towel, looking distressed. "James, I don't know what happened last night," she said, pretending to be lost and confused. Though his memory was blurred, James knew one thing with absolute certainty: he would never betray Diep. A week later, Trang appeared in his office with teary eyes and a blurry ultrasound image in hand. "I'm pregnant. It's your child," she said. In that devastating moment, Diep walked in, just in time to witness the scene, the image, the closeness, the lie. She said nothing. No tears. No accusations. She simply turned and walked away. The sound of the door slamming behind her echoed louder than any word could. From that day on, James was a ghost of himself. He called her repeatedly, sent message after message, but all he received was silence. Diep had left the city, taken an extended leave, and returned to her hometown, far from rumors, far from pain. Meanwhile, Trang embraced her fabricated role as the vulnerable single mother. She walked into the office each day with dark circles beneath her eyes, gently caressing her belly, speaking of the baby with forced tenderness. Slowly, sympathy turned toward her, and judgment began to cloud around James. Even some business partners demanded answers. The company's image was starting to crack. James could no longer bear it. His instincts, the same ones that helped him build an empire, told him something was wrong. Quietly, with the help of a trusted lawyer, he investigated Trang's medical history at major hospitals. The findings were damning. There was no evidence of a pregnancy, no ultrasounds, no blood work, not even a prenatal consultation. James took swift action. He called an emergency board meeting, inviting the director of the city's most prestigious maternity hospital. In front of everyone, the doctor announced, "We have no patient named Trang registered in the past 3 months." The room fell into stunned silence. The board turned to Trang, their faces filled with disbelief and disgust. She turned pale. Her lips moved, but no words came out. James stood, his voice icy. "Not only did you lie to me, you tried to destroy my reputation and this company's name. I cannot forgive that. Trang's carefully built web of lies collapsed entirely. She was suspended on the spot. Rain poured heavily as she walked out of the company. Alone. Disgraced. Carrying nothing but the weight of her own deceit. But James didn't care about gossip or the headlines. He only cared about one thing, Diep, the woman he had unknowingly hurt. The one who had suffered in silence for a mistake he didn't commit. He got into his car and drove 4 hours straight to the small town where she had taken refuge. Her house was tucked away in a quiet alley, surrounded by swaying bamboo and the stillness of countryside peace. He stood in front of her wooden door, heart pounding like a boy meeting his love's family for the first time. When the door opened, Diep stood there, thinner, quieter, with sadness resting on her face. They didn't speak at first. The rain continued to fall. Then James, with a trembling voice, broke the silence. I didn't come here to justify myself. I just want you to know that everything Trang said was a lie. I never betrayed you. Diep looked at him, calm but wounded. I know. I heard the doctor say it himself. But James, what hurt the most wasn't thinking you had a child with another woman. It was hearing it from everyone else. You didn't trust our love enough to tell me the truth yourself. James lowered his gaze. He had no defense. He had stayed silent, thinking he was protecting her, when in reality, that silence had made her feel abandoned. I was wrong, he said softly. I thought I was shielding you from pain. But now I know love isn't about protecting someone alone. It's about sharing everything, the fear, the hurt, the truth. I didn't just come to ask for forgiveness. I came to ask for another chance. She stared at him for a long moment. Then, with a quiet breath, she stepped aside and gently said, "It's raining heavily. Come in. Have some ginger tea, and we'll talk." James smiled, stepping across the threshold as if walking into a new beginning. In the warmth of her small kitchen, with the soft scent of tea in the air, something broken began to mend. Their love didn't start over. It simply continued, from the moment it had paused.